The first one, obviously, Edwards-Helaire missing practice today. What is your comfort level with the group behind him? Williams coming off a limited practice on Wednesday. But where's your comfort level with the running back group heading into this weekend?
You know what? My comfort level is where it always is, the next man is up. And the thing is Clyde is going to do everything he can to be out there this weekend. We're going to let the people take care of what they need to take care of. But on top of that, Greg Lewis is doing a heck of a job with those guys. And when given an opportunity, those guys have proven that they can rise to the challenge. So I expect our guys, regardless of who's out there playing, to go out there and play hard and play fast. But on top of that, to give us something productive to help us to secure a victory.
Go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric, how you doing today?
I'm good. Adam, how you doing?
Good. Tyreek Hill had a different type of season for him. Not as many big plays, but a lot of catches, shorter catches, maybe more of a possession receiver, although I know he would hate me using that term. Is that been an easy transition for him to make? And Brad will have a second question as well.
You know what? I'll say this. I think our guys have done a great job of just adjusting to how teams have been defending us. So obviously Tyreek would like to think of himself obviously as the fastest man in the universe, because we also know that he won the race, one of the fastest men in history. But I thought he's had a heck of a season. He's done some great things. Obviously, he has the skill set to be a great possession receiver as well as a deep threat. So I like the fact what Tyreek has brought to the table, and I like that he's showing everyone that he's capable of not just being a deep threat, but also someone who can make plays with his feet after the catch as well.
So what is it about his skill set that allows him not only to be a deep threat, but also effective underneath as well?
You know what? He works at it. And I'll say this, Tyreek is the ultimate professional. He studies, okay? He takes great notes in the classroom. And on top of that, he's just a prideful kid who wants to know what to do, how to do it, and how can he go out there to help us to be the most productive team that we can possibly be. Those are the things that you want in all your players, because when you have people like that, they're willing to do whatever it takes. Those are the things that make them special. Those are the little things that help define Tyreek and helped him to become the player that he has become over the years.
Herbie, I think I cut you off there. I'm sorry. Let's go back to you. Go ahead, Herbs.
Thanks,
cold-blooded.
Hey, Coach, obviously we're at the time of the year, and you know where I'm going with this because I have to ask it, but we're at the time of the year where your name is now going to be linked to multiple vacant head coaching positions. Up first, obviously, the Broncos, potentially on Monday with an interview. How do you deal with some of the outside distractions, knowing that you still have a job to do, and how has the last few years helped you to prepare for all these outside distractions?
You know what, Herbie, it's always good to be mentioned. And the thing about it, you don't allow it to become a distraction, because first and foremost, I have a job. Second of all, we got a big game this up and coming weekend. And that's the most important thing, to take care of business at hand and to focus on the now. All that stuff is going to take care of itself. And do not get me wrong, I am blessed and I am very fortunate to be a part of that chatter, to be a part of some of the things that are taking place. But right now, my focus is to make sure that we're ready to go out and play a 60-minute consecutive game where we can go out there and play hard and play fast, but more importantly, to play for each other.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Right, I'll have a follow-up, please. First question kind of stems off from the Tyreek Hill point. Not as available last game, and Mecole Hardman really stood out. How much can you look, and not that you didn't have confidence in Hardman before, but how much can you look at one game and one outing and kind of as a coaching staff come back and say, maybe even when Hill is okay to go, we got to get the ball in this guy's hands, maybe even a little bit more?
Well, I think you feel that about every player that steps on that field, because obviously we feel that we have a great, unique skill set of people that happen to be great football players. But on top of that, they work at it. Yes, Mecole Hardman did a hell of a job last week, and we're counting on more of that as we move forward. But when it's all said and done with, the next man has to step up, regardless of place in any role. We're counting on those players to step up and give us some productive of time. And the thing about it, when it's all said and done with, we want all of our players to step to the plate. And that's why we've gotten to the point where we are. And that's why we've made this run over the past few years, because when players are not available, our coaching staff has done a heck of a job of making sure that the next men are. And that's the important thing. And we'll just keep chopping and keep moving from there.
And then Coach, not talking about anyone in particular here. Why is Andy Reid's program a good place for future head coaches to kind of be born?
You know what, Coach does a great job. First of all, I mean, he's a father figure. He's a head coach. He's been around for a number of years. He's very, very consistent in what he does. You know, he does a great job of delegating, making sure that everybody knows exactly what their roles are. But on top of that, he allows you to be yourself, okay? He wants you to be the expert at what you do. And so when you have a coach that's not over you just saying, hey, you have to do this or you have to do that, it makes it special because guys come to work feeling comfortable in their own skin and going out there and performing up to the best capabilities. And then another thing is there are no egos. We all work together. And I think that's the unique part that makes our coaching staff a very, very strong place because we all work together, we all get along, and if my idea is not good enough, it's okay. You know, if the coach's idea is not good enough, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that we want to do is to do what is best for our team. And that's the thing that makes it special working for under coach, you know, working under Coach Reid and just the culture that he's built here.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Good, Matt.
Hey, Coach, kind of actually along those lines, you know, a lot of coaches have talked about how Coach Reid has encouraged them to put together their plan, their binder about how that they would coach when if they were to get to become a head coach and build an organization. Have you done that? Do you have a binder? And what are the most important things for you that you put in there?
You know, here we go. We're deviating off the path here. Okay. Focus is the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I will say this. Okay. One of the first persons to ever motivate me about building my binder happens to be the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Me and Mike T have been the best of friends. We actually coached together in Minnesota, and he was the defensive coordinator at that time. And I watched him go through his interviewing process, and it was very, very impressive. And so I always knew after watching him have that experience and watching him obviously become the great coach that he has become, it's been very motivating to me. And so, you know, I've been collecting my items for my book for a number of years now, and you just keep adding on to it and keep building it. But I've been blessed and fortunate to work with a number of great people who have had a big impact on my career.
And we'll go last to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
And Brad, I'll have a follow-up. Actually, Coach, listen, answer this however you want. I'm going to be blunt. Just how many interviews have you had? First of all, would you share that with us?
There are no interviews right now, okay? And we're not allowed to interview because right now we're in the wild card playoff game. Don't you guys know we play the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend? What are we talking about, fellas? We talking about football? We talking about interviews?
Well, you know, I listen, Coach, I know you are, and I know that your focus is the Pittsburgh Steelers, but there's a lot of people that are football fans that their focus is a bigger picture than that, right? And you know, good or bad, right or wrong, and whether you want it or not, you're kind of the tip of the spear of that right now because of your qualifications for the job. So I understand that you can't interview right now, but they had a new rule that you could interview over the last 2 weeks of the season. One, how did you think that rule went? And then two, have you interviewed previous to now this year? And if so, if you would, and you obviously don't have to, Coach, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it, but just, you know,
I know you're not trying to be a jerk, and I'll address it. So first of all, you guys know me. You guys have been around me. Okay. The only thing that matters right now is the task at hand. So obviously there's a new rule out. My job is to make sure that I'm doing everything under the sun that to help us to be the most productive team and to give us the best opportunity to go out and accomplish the goal. The goal has always been to win the Super Bowl. Okay. So in order to do that, we got to take care of the day-to-day matters. Now, when called upon to have those opportunities, we'll take care of that when the time is right. Okay. So right now, my time and my focus and my energy is solely on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And at some point in time, that's going to take care of itself. Now, due to the rules and the way it works out, I will not be available until after this game. And right now, my whole point is to make sure that's not a distraction in anything that we want to accomplish, because the only thing that matters is making sure that our guys are mentally and physically prepared to go out and play the best that they can play on Sunday. And the rest of the other stuff will take care of itself.
It's Tim Grunert, aka Mr. Truck KC. No request is too big or customer too small for my team at Roberts Robinson. Check them out online at robertsrobinson.com and tell them that Mr. Truck KC sent ya.